Well, big up, big up, big up. And yes, we are back again. I am back again. 2 days in a row. So, it's like baby steps. We're getting there. Definitely getting there. But good evening and welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. Got a massive episode today, I would say, because there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of transfer news. And also we have the blessing of having Baz with us today. We might have some others of the usual suspects joining us in a little bit. But for right now, it's just me and my brother Baz in the house. How you doing, Baz?
Yes, what's going on, man? Good to be back. And big up everybody in the chat. Hope everyone is well. And yeah, man, I'm really excited to be here with you, 12th Man, and the chat.
Yeah.
Our beloved teams.
Definitely. Shout out to Norm, John. Shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to Cedric. Big up to all of you that are joining us too, that haven't maybe chimed in, but I know that you're listening. Big up to everyone. Thank you all for some of you that left some comments or reached out to me yesterday, showing some even more support. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And again, thank you for being with me along this walk. Shout out Red Armchair Supporter. Definitely big up. We're going to talk about our striker hunt. We're going to talk about the evolving situation with Lucho in Bayern Munich. We're going to talk about our center back dilemma, is what I at least see it as. We're also going to talk about a little bit of rival talk. I'll give a little, we're going to talk about transfer that just went through. That is a big time transfer. At least I think it's a big transfer. So we'll see how you think about that as well. So much to dig into. So let's just get started from the very gate. We're going to talk about Ekitike. Yep. It looks like it's been a crazy week for us as Reds. We've had our right back situation looked into, and I wouldn't say solved, but let me say solved by bringing in Frimpong. We've had an attacking midfielder in Wirtz. We've had a left back taken off our shopping list with Kirkez. We've even had a goalkeeper, even though that was before last summer window, but we still got a good goalkeeper in the wings, ready for the eventual succession to being our first goalkeeper in Mamardashvili. But a striker is still in progress. And that striker looks like it's going to be Hugo Ekitike. Reportedly, he's close to joining Liverpool for over 80 million euros. Talks are advanced, and as they're saying, meticulous. That's a very big word. Ekitike, I know. Ekitike has agreed a 6-year deal, and so the personal terms have been agreed. 6 years is a nice lengthy contract. Usually we see 5-year deals when it comes to a lot of our players, but it looks like a 6-year deal has been agreed on. We're told Liverpool and Frankfurt are hammering out the final details, which is structure, add-ons, possible sell-on clauses. This isn't a power play after missing out on Alexander Isak in any ways, at least that's my perspective. Liverpool have long admired both players. Newcastle won't sell Isak at this moment. And after it fell through with our bid for him, we already pretty much knew that another bid for Ekitike was definitely the move, because they even tried to bid for Ekitike themselves, kind of stepping up the temperature in the room. So now all focus is on getting Hugo over the line. Multiple sources say Liverpool aim to wrap this up this weekend. So we should hear something very, very soon. Newcastle's 70 million bid was rejected, obviously. Liverpool are expected to go beyond that. Ekitike is fully open to the move and wants to be our central striker. This one's very close, and it would cap off a summer of intent, of, need I say, ambition. The word that's often used for almost everything. Ambition. I'm going to ask Baz this question. I'm going to ask you in the chat the question as well. Has Liverpool made the right call in prioritizing Ekitike now? Or should we have waited and just gone all in for Isak, who, obviously was our reported first choice? It still is our first choice, I think. I'm going to ask that to Baz. Well, I'll ask that to the chat then. I think Baz is having a little bit problem with his audio. Do you think that Ekitike was the right choice, or do you think that we should have, waited? I understand, like, he's on 3 years. He hasn't recently. They haven't up. I'm sure they're probably tempting him with more money, meaning Isak.
Yeah.
Okay, you're there. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, we can hear you now.
By the way.
Yes, we can hear you, definitely. Oh. Now I think maybe not now, but as I was saying, they're definitely tempting him. Is Ekitike the right move for us? I think it is. I think it's a power move, especially if we move on from Nunez. It'll be an exceptional move. And on top of that, I think that if anything, I personally think that if we bring in Ekitike, I still think that we go for Isak next year. Next summer window, I still think we go for Ekitike. That's just my perspective. I'm not an ITK, at least not yet. But my perspective is that I think that this is still a positive deal. There's still the possibility that we could, work out. Maybe Isak pushes the deal forward a little bit. He emphasizes that he does what we're going to speak on, what Diaz is possibly doing, and pushes the deal forward for us to get him in this summer break. But I think that we could, and this is just, again, my honest perspective, I think that there could be a possibility that we get Ekitike and we get Isak, and we have a phenomenal 1-2 punch of the next Isak possibly, and obviously Isak himself in our midst. And it could be very, very troubling, I'm sure, for a lot of people in the Premier League, rivals included, that would be looking at us as a force to reckon with. I don't know about you, but I know I've heard a lot more people chiming in to say that we're the outright favorites possibly for winning this year. And it would be a great thing to accomplish, because then we can push past that, oh, you've never gone back to back with winning the Premier League. We can push that little jibe or jab that our rivals use against us. But let me see what you guys are saying while Baz has had to step out to get his connection correct, and I'm certain we'll be back. Let's see what we have to say in the chat. We need a striker now, Paul is saying. Not next season. We got Mo and Virgil for 2 years. We can't wait. We can't waste one of them waiting for Isak. Okay, Paul. Russell, big up Russell, by the way. I think we will get another player like Mateta. Okay. KJ agrees with me with possibly getting Ekitike now, and then having the flexibility to make Isak our major acquisition next summer, maybe. Shout out to Max. Big up Max. Shout out to Hylor. Hylor is saying yes to Ekitike. Unselfish, hard worker, best on assist of all the options, strong and little or no injuries. Let's knock on wood on that one. There you go. And especially compared to Isak. It's a good point. Let's see. Max doesn't agree on Ekitike. All right. Shout out to Hash. Big up, Hash. Thank you for the kind words that you sent to me. Let's see. I agree with Max on this one. I'm not a huge fan of bringing in Mateta. I don't think Mateta answers a lot of what we would need. He's a Good player, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he's Liverpool quality or the quality that Liverpool will need and provide possibly even the role that we would need in our striker. Because if we bring in Ekitike, then I think it's a pretty, especially for the money that we're talking about bringing him in for, we'll most likely be seeing him as our starting striker. And that is obviously with Nunez not a part of the fold. Hyler says, and with Wirtz in the team, the job on top will be a lot easier for any striker. I was listening to friend and part of the 12th man family, Bryan or Uncle, or I should say Uncle Bryan Anfield, the Irishman's. Excuse me, I'm getting everyone's mixed up. The Irishman's channel earlier today, and he was thinking that we might see we might see Ekitike off on the left, pretty much playing left wing. I don't know if Bryan joins us, I'd love to have him elaborate a little bit more about that perspective. I know he broke it down by even showing a little bit of the scenario of what he envisions our formation would look like. I don't really necessarily see that possibly happening, but it does bring up a question of if we have Wirtz, where does Dom fit into this scenario? Do we keep him as our 10 and then play Wirtz off on the left? But then that again makes the scenario of where do you play Hakpo? If Diaz does stay, where do you play Diaz? I'd love to hear your perspectives on that, because I don't know exactly how you juggle all of that together. It's going to be very interesting, but if anything, stick Ekitike in the striker position, place Wirtz in that 10. You might have to find some spot in the midfield. You might have to find some spot in the midfield for Dominic, or have him as a substitute for Wirtz. But it's a question of what you really are looking for from that 10. Because honestly, I know there's those that don't rate Dominic. I am not one of them. I think that he's an exceptional player. I went to bat for him quite a bit last year. But there's some intangibles that Dominic brings, and there's some things that he gives up. And that's on the offensive side of the ball. He gives up some things because he's got to concentrate more on the other aspects of the game, like, covering for, if you're going to have Salah so far up the pitch, or cheating in a sense, or, being a little bit of a right wing poacher in essence. You have to have someone covering and helping out with that side of the pitch. You have to have someone like Dominic who does. I think Dominic possibly covers the most pitch out of anyone on our team. You also have to have someone that's going to be committed to defense, going to give up little parts of his game just so that he can make sure that others can shine in theirs. And you might not want that to be put on Wirtz's shoulders as that 10. So it's going to be interesting. I'd like to hear your guys' perspectives on like how that changes up, or what changes in that scenario. Because we certainly are going to need to find a way to get our best players on the pitch. And I think Dominic is one of our best players, but, just by the fact that you can only put 11 on the pitch means that someone is going to get the short end of the stick. Big up Anfield Roar. Big up. Thank you for your kind words too, by the way. Ekitike might be a graceful player, might be hardworking, but when he doesn't score, treat him the way everyone treated mine and 12's favorite player, Nunez. I said that from the very gate. That's a good point. That's a very good point. It's the reason why I brought it up yesterday too. It's interesting. And if you can answer this question for me, chat, I would like to know, what are your expectations? If we're going to get Ekitike in, what are your expectations for Ekitike? What does he have to bring? What does he have to actually, well, let's say register for you to say money well spent, for you to say that's my striker, or for you to say, that was a very, very smart deal to do. He's obviously done what we need to do, get out of him. Is it 20 goals and 5 assists? Is it 15 goals and 10 assists? Is it 10 goals and 10 assists? What is the number that you are thinking? Please tell me in the chat. I'm gonna make sure that we bring him up and we can discuss that too, because it is something of an interesting situation. The question. Let's see. Anfield Roar is saying, with Ekitike, he expects 12 to 15 goals and 5 to 8 assists, something like that. He's got a good feeling about him. I hope that your feeling is right, by the way. I hope that you're more than right on that. I'm hoping for bigger numbers, to be honest with you. But I'm hoping for bigger numbers. But we'll see. We'll see. Hi, Lord, Mbeumo thing or the Cunha thing. We're going to get into a little bit of rival talk. We're going to talk about some Red Devils today. Let's see. Anybody else have? We've got at least about 60 people in the chat. I know that you guys have expectations. I'm sure there were expectations for Nunez when he came to the team. You know, people were saying he has to score 15 goals this year for him to be worth the money, or he has to score 20 goals for him to be worth the money. What are your thoughts? I'd love to see what they are, and they can be optimistic, or it could be conservative with your assessment. Let's see. KJ is saying he thinks he will get 18 goals and 10 assists. That is an exceptional year, by the way. If he gets 18 goals and 10 assists, that'll be money well spent. That'll be exceptional. Because I would think that obviously if he has 10 assists, most likely he's spreading them around to his flanks, and if not that, he's most certainly getting others involved in the offense. KJ says 13 to 15 goals he's happy with as a minimum. Okay. He's saying 20 plus GA is what he needs. So you need like 15 goals, 5 assists, or 13 goals and 7 assists. Okay. And I agree, Norm. That's a well put point. I know that Max is emphasizing some of the treatment that Nunez sees online. However, I know from Norm, I've heard from others, and on top of that, you can hear it. Just vote. You can audibly hear it. The match-going fans are incredible, by the way. I hope to be a part of that at some point of my life here. But the match-going fans, much like Norm and the likes, are absolutely not some, but I believe the best fans in England. They travel with the team and they support the players through thick and thin. And it's smart. It's smart. Online, you're able to do things where you're able to sometimes talk out of line, or we have some people that sometimes go way over the line. Content creators, sometimes people in the chat go way over the line. But there are times, and rivals, you expect it. But for the most part, when it comes to supporting, whether it's Dominic, whether it's Lucho, whether it's Cody, whether it's obviously Nunez, whether it's Harvey, there's immensely a lot of support from our traveling fans, and that's something that I really do applaud. When I get the opportunity to say so, I definitely applaud it because it's they represent us. They represent us. Those fans that travel all over, follow our team, they represent each and every one of us. They're our voice when we go to rival fans' pitches, and it makes a real difference. It makes a real big difference. Let's see. Here, I'm going to bring in Bryan. Whenever you're ready, Bryan. I know you have the capability to bring yourself in, so whenever you're ready, you can hop on the panel here. We got Bryan, the Irishman, in the house. He's in the green room right now. We got Baz back with us. Big up.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Yeah, they're going back and forth a little bit on the Nunez thing. I get you guys. I get you. Trust me, I get a lot of flack every time I'm on someone else's channel or, as a guest or something, as a guest, content creator. First thing people will always want to do is bring up something about Nunez. It's almost like, they must think that I get like paid to talk about the guy. Oh man, it's funny. But yeah, I'm a fan of him, of course. I'm a fan of almost any player of ours, and I speak passionately about all of our players because, hey, someone's got to do it. Let's see. Baz, since Bryan is still getting, he might be getting some makeup put on, sitting in the makeup chair before he gets to come out of the green room and join us. I asked the question earlier. I think you just like kind of.
Yeah, I heard it, and then it just cut out, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Just as I'm about to talk, my laptop needed updating, and I haven't been online for a while, so obviously the laptop just went blum.
Oh, it just went right into updates. Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah. So I'm so sorry about that, 12th. I'm so sorry about that.
No
chat.
worries.
Hopefully, it should be okay.
I asked this before you even reflect back. I'll re-ask the question I asked earlier, but okay. I wanted to ask you this because this is the question that we had moved on to.
Yeah.
What does Ekitike, if Ekitike gets over the line, and if we do bring him in, and let's say he does become, and this is like saying that Nunez has been moved on from, this is saying that Ekitike is our sole focus as being our starting forward, which is necessary for any player to get any type of traction. They have to be given starts. Even though they might not score in those games or might not necessarily hit the ground running, they still got to get that rhythm. They still got to get the ability to get the solidarity with the rest of their team. With that said, so we're going to give, let's say we get Ekitike and we said we're going to give him the first 10 games to start for our club. What, and then even maybe even further, considering hopefully if he connects and clicks, what is the number, meaning GA, that he has to produce for you to say money well spent?
Look, I mean, he's going to come into the Premier League, and it's a different kettle of fish altogether, isn't it? Obviously, with the Isak thing and him, people wanted Isak. I think this guy, look, he's a baby Isak, innit? And when you look at what he's going to have, if Diaz is still there, and then obviously with a new signing of Florian Wirtz and Salah, he's going to be getting a lot of chances. And I think it'll be wrong to expect too much from him. Like, I know the problem is, we buy a player for nearly 70, 80 million pounds or euros, whichever the price is, and people are going to expect results straight away. And some people will have their opinions on him because they wanted the other player, obviously, in Isak. I think it's important to give this guy the chance, just how we did with Darwin Núñez, and see what happens. You know what I mean? He's a player that I think would be brilliant in the Premier League. I think, he is, for me, like a mini Isak. You know what I mean? Maybe a younger Isak. And I think I wouldn't put numbers in it, but I would probably just say, look, give the guy an opportunity. And obviously it's a very emotional season as well, considering the other, the sad news. So I think people will be a little bit more lenient. And when you look at the other players that we've brought in, we've covered, you know, people are going to be happy this season. You know, people are going to be happy because we spent quite a lot, and he's going to get a lot of opportunities and a lot of chances to show himself. And I think he'll be okay. But personally, I won't be looking at too much. But it's always great to see, him just start the first 10 games, and he's, hitting like maybe, I don't know, 6-7 goals in 10 or something like that, like a respectable ratio. So yeah, I think.
So what is the what are the numbers? What are the numbers exactly?
I would say anything from about in the first 10 games in terms of, I think he's more of a goal getter than more of an assist maker. So I think with the players that are going to give him, I think he should have between 6 to 7 goals out of the 10. I think if he is what he is, because
for the first 10 games, I'm talking about. How about for like the entire season? What kind of production would you like to see out of the entire season?
I would what in everything, in all competitions you're talking about, or
no, just the Prem, just the Prem. Yeah,
Prem. I'll be happy if he gets up to about 15 for his first start. It would be like quite respectable.
Okay.
Yeah.
15, and then you can throw GA too. So I don't understand why sometimes people I understand he's a striker, so goals are his currency, but I don't understand why some people don't appreciate the GA part of it. If you're not scoring goals, the second best thing you can do is be giving out assists, So I mean, they're valuable as well. They might not be, like the dollar, the dollar bill, but they are certainly the change that you need to get up to that dollar bill. So it's just interesting. Sometimes, like you bring up a striker's GA, and they're like, "Who cares about the assists? I only care about when he's scoring goals." And I'm like, "Okay, that's interesting. I care about the goals, of course, but I also acknowledge the importance of the assist that he's created too, which can open up more of his game as well, because then people can't just concentrate on trying to stop him.
I think sorry to cut you 12. Right, I think he will. When I was saying 15 goals, yeah. I mean, the team our club, the way we play, I think he will do well in terms of assist as well. I think that there is also a fact that KJS was saying as well. He's both. It's true. He's a goal getter, and he's also. I think when he was playing with Mamouche, when Mamouche was over there, they used to interchange a lot. You know what I mean? So he used to also create assists as well. And I think he will be good. And when you look at our players, we're very fluid. We're very fluid when it comes to our front line. He's a runner. He will create for Salah. He will create for Wirtz. Wirtz will create for him. I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for him. And I think it's probably the best club for him to come in and show that.
Okay. So 15 goals is what you're looking at. I know I asked you the question, Brian, yesterday, and I know you're not really too keen on it. Welcome to the show, by the way. I know you're not too keen on trying to put a number behind.
Yeah, that's what Baz said about what he said. He doesn't want to put a number on it. I think that's fair. You don't put a number on any kid. You just look. I know you're going to say, "Oh, he's blah blah, he's this, he's that." I said, "Look, let's just see what happens." And like I said last night, just play well. Mm-hmm. Just play well. If you take your chances to come by you, just come in and just don't be I don't know who we used as an example last night, but don't come in and be fucking Ali Daya or something. Just come in and look good and get better. Mm-hmm. Just look good. And I mean, like I was saying that about the whole project thing. If he's a project, fine. As long as it's a project that comes to fruition, then we're all gravy, right? That's all. We all want us to sign good players who play well. I mean, we can go down the Arsenal route. We could sign a petition on change.org. Unless he scores 20 goals, we want Hughes sacked. We could try.
Did they really do that? Did they really do something like that?
Did you not see the Madueke one? No, don't tell me you missed that.
I missed that.
Yeah,
I missed that.
Arsenal fans set up the petition.
I'm still in the shallow end of the pool. I'm getting closer to the deep end.
That's crazy.
No, man. Arsenal fans set up a petition. Yeah, change.org, Baz. Change.org, a petition to, I don't even know what the point was. Basically, to boycott the signing of Madueke from Chelsea. Arsenal fans set up, and it got like the last time I looked, it was. I mean, it was only like 5,000 signatures, but that's
Mhm.
enough, you know. But yeah, that's how deluded these people are. They're signing. Look, I think he's a really talented young footballer, Nani Madueke. I think he's a really talented young player.
Yeah, yeah.
And Arsenal fans are just so, I don't know. I think was it maybe, I think a lot of it was kind of to do with the fact that they were buying him from Chelsea. It
Yeah,
was kind of their thing, but they set up a goddamn petition, man. They wanted
I
to
thought,
take it to Parliament to block the move. You know,
is
come
it
on, when I was
maybe
young.
PTSD? Maybe for some of them, considering that they paid
What does
top
that
dollar
say
for
to your new
Havertz.
signing?
No, I'm just saying they paid top dollar.
Yeah,
I'll let you say.
yeah.
Just saying they paid top dollar for Havertz.
yeah.
There are critics out there that don't think that he was worth what they paid, because I think it was what,
Wasn't worth
65
what they
million or
paid.
something like that, 65
Yeah,
something,
it
something
wasn't
like
worth
that.
Do you
what
know
they
what, 12? When
Yeah.
you think about it, they bought a lot of Chelsea rejects over the years, and they've not really done well in it. When you
paid.
look
It
at
is that. It's
Jorginho, obviously Havertz, Madueke, Raheem Sterling obviously was on
Yeah,
loan. They're not,
yeah,
and maybe a few more. Do you know what I mean? Even a
yeah,
goalkeeper,
totally.
Czech, but Czech was still
no,
good.
they're throwing Petr Cech into that mix, Baz. And
No,
I'm like,
but
okay, look, I'll
no,
give
no,
you
but
this guy, but don't be
Yeah,
giving me
yeah.
Petr Cech
no,
or
no, no.
some
But
fucking
what I
come
mean
I don't.
is
Yeah,
they
No,
do
I know
run.
what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's probably what it is. And you know what? I don't think Madueke is that bad. I mean,
I think
he's
he's
not going to
a
start.
really good little player.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, they probably like, interchange him with, I don't know, Martinelli, or probably like play Martinelli if he's playing good. And then they'll probably have him replacing
Yeah.
not Saka, but, giving Saka a break.
Trossard
Yeah.
replacement, Saka backup.
Yeah. It's the
I
money, I think,
mean,
what it is.
KJ,
And
look, yeah, the money is steep, 50,
yeah.
but
He's
look,
saying they
we're
didn't want
paying
him.
freaking 80 million for a guy with one good. This is the market these days. But
Hmm.
no, come on, what does that say to your new signing? Like, I saw an interview with him today, and it was really kind of like, I don't care about these, but it was kind of interesting to see. He's like, oh, it's amazing to come to this family club, I've been made feel so
Oh,
welcome, and he's been talking really nicely. And you just know that interviewer is like, yeah, you saw that petition, right? You just
yeah,
know he wants to say, you just know
yeah,
he
yeah,
saw a
yeah. I'm gonna
petition, right?
say
Yeah,
that's like real family love. When before you
yeah.
even
He's
get
trying
there,
to
they're
big it
already
up
telling
like
you.
hell. Yeah,
Yeah, already
he
telling you they
saw the
don't want
petition.
you.
Ellen, thanks,
Wow.
thanks, guys. Cheers.
I did. You know what? So I saw KJ just say Martinelli is way better. There was a time when because I know Klopp was a big, big fan of Martinelli.
Yeah, he
Um,
dropped
I
off.
was going to look up to see what kind of deal he is on. I think he resigned and is
He
not
dropped
in.
off big time last couple. He was so good about 2 years ago. Martinelli,
Yeah,
2.5 years ago, he was so good, but he's really, really dropped off.
yeah, yeah. Let me see what he is working with.
And you're right,
Um,
Klopp is a big fan. Klopp was a big fan of him,
huge.
and Saka, and
Yeah,
Saka. He was trying
yeah,
to get both of them.
yeah. It's a wild thing. Do you think if we had gotten hypothetically, if we gotten, I'm gonna throw some in the Marvel universe, they do like these like what ifs. They did like this like
Oh,
alternative
fuck, oh
dimension.
shit! Sorry. You
Right.
asked me to do something, and I forgot to do it. Sorry.
No worries,
Yeah.
no worries.
Sorry.
Um, if been able to get Saka, let's say, do you think that we would have moved on from Salah at an earlier stage?
Who's that to?
Because because obviously you're not going to have Saka sit in the bench. What do you think we would have done? This is just a hypothetical. I'm not saying I want to see Salah gone or anything. That's silly. But I'm just wondering what do you think would have been the move?
I think they would have potentially, if they were going to do something like that, they would have probably brought him in while Salah is there, maybe one more year or Salah's last year, sort of thing, there's no going to be renewal and stuff like that. And they'll probably just kind of like bed him in with someone like Salah. Do you know what I mean? To show him the ropes sort of thing, because he ideally, you know, all our creation and stuff like that over the years has come from someone like Salah. So I think what they'll do is they'll integrate him really well. That's what Liverpool tend to do over the years and that. And I think it would have been a good move if that happened. But if they got rid of Salah and then brought in Saka, I think it would still be great. But obviously, he probably won't see what made Salah that great over the years. You know what I mean? The coming in early, the gym work. This is how I beat players. Plus Salah's own technical ability and stuff like that. But you know what's crazy though? I just add this. I wouldn't even want Saka in my team. Seriously. I don't like. He's probably good in a lot of people's eyes, and he is a good player. But me personally, I would rather have another right winger than Saka. I don't know why. It's just something about him that I don't like. You know, not dark arts, but when I watch him, he's always getting tripped up and he's falling and he's like, you know, rolling around like maybe a European player that used to be. And I don't like that kind of stuff. And even if it is to get us a free kick and stuff like that, I'm not about that life. But yeah, that's me.
Okay. How about even for let's change the scenario then and say for Martinelli. Does Martinelli start over Diaz? Does he start over Cody in your mind if we were to have a Martinelli? Both chance. Martinelli, by the way, and Saka's deals they're coming up on the last 2 years of their deals.
No chance for me.
They have 2 years left on their deals. Both of them have 2 years left. Their contracts end in 2027.
Yeah, I wouldn't want. No, I'm quite happy with Cody Gakpo and Diaz if Diaz stays. Martinelli was good. I don't know what's happened. He's fallen off a cliff or something's going on in his life or
in the team. Coaching. I think it's the coaching.
Perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. But, you know, I know they get a new lease of life if they go to another club and that. But I don't know. There's just, again, it's not an anti-Arsenal thing, yeah? They've done really well, you know what I mean, over the years, to, you know, considering where they were like maybe about 3-4 years ago. They've done well to get to that stage and they are an exciting team. But Martinelli, I would rather have Saka than Martinelli. And even then, it's like, I don't really want Saka. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Diaz and Gakpo would always be starters for me.
Okay. I don't know. Change this. I don't know what Max is saying, but big up, Lady B in the house. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Hanging in there. You know, the struggle continues, but you know, second day back. So like, just trying to get back into the routine of things.
It's good to have you back, and you look a lot better today.
Oh yeah. I got a decent sleep, and it's not. I don't get like my normal 8 hours of beauty sleep, so that's why.
You don't need it.
Yeah, right.
It does look a mess, to be fair.
There you go. See?
Is that Baz? That's got to be Baz throwing those in.
Yeah.
It's got to be in. It wouldn't be me in it.
Back down to earth.
I love this guy, honestly. I love him.
Very good.
He knows we have a mad kind of love.
Yeah.
No, Baz, keep it clean. It's, you know.
There you go.
Oh, it's halal, mate. It's halal. Don't worry
there you
about
go. That. Yeah, there you go. Paul. Wow. So yeah, Martinelli and Saka both have just 2 years left in their deal. I don't know. Maybe stranger things have happened. If Arsenal doesn't win anything again this year, I wouldn't be surprised if there's starting to be some rumbles in the Arsenal camp of looking for greener pastures. I would say that for sure. Well, I'm going to get into the next subject. And that's something that we touched on yesterday, but I definitely wanted to bring it back up because it's something that I think is even more pertinent and more important than even our striker search, to be honest with you. And that's our center back dilemma. We have to talk about the center back situation. The 35 million pound sale of Quansah to Bayern Leverkusen really raised some eyebrows for some. He's 22. He's an England call-up. Lots of potential. But Arne Slot sanctioned his departure after a season where Let's be honest. He only made 4 Premier League starts, and he was quickly annexed to the basement, I guess, as some of the youth say on the internet. So now we're down to VVD, Konate, and Gomez as our center halves. And we all remember what happened last time we started the season with just 3 center backs. I don't think we all want to think about that, but it was a absolute disaster in 2020. Endo can fill in, but rarely does. Gomez has, obviously, as everyone knows, his injury concerns. Konate is in the final 12 months of his contract, and Real Madrid are lurking. We haven't signed a first-choice center back since Konate himself. Think about that. Failed pursuits on Colwell, Yarrow, Hoyson have left us certainly exposed. It's very similar to me, in my perspective. It's very similar to some of our pursuits for our CDM. But now Mark Gahey is emerging as a serious target. But should we have been more proactive, possibly even sooner? Bottom line is now we have a must-do signing in a center half, in my opinion. We don't have anything really lined up in the youth academy. So Hughes and the recruitment team cannot afford to get this wrong. I'm going to ask the panel, and you can tell me in the chat as well. Was it a mistake to sell Quansah at this point in the window, given our center back depth? And who should we now prioritize to strengthen this key position? I'll ask Lady B that question first, since she is the new arrival.
Yeah, do you know what? I've asked myself that actually, 12th, because it seemed to be the right thing. Yeah, it seemed to be the right thing to do at the time, and you thought, well, we've got Gahey coming in, although we weren't sure at the time, but we didn't know Konate was going to, look at maybe moving on. So it did seem the right thing to do, and we thought we'd bring somebody else in, and then all of a sudden it turned upside down, didn't it? Because Konate wasn't going to sign his contract. So, but hindsight is like 2020 vision, and we don't have that at the time. So I just think they did what they thought they had to do for him, to give him sort of full-time football, and then for us to bring in somebody who was stronger than him. But I've got to say, I am a bit worried at the moment, because we just haven't got somebody locked in. I'd rather like to see either Konate locked in, or Gahey in and somebody else, or even Nallo in and training. But at the moment, it just seems we're light in that department. So,
okay, yeah, I agree with that. I think it's one of the biggest problem. I think it's a bigger problem than our striker position. I think, and I know that sounds weird, but I honestly think that considering like we spoke on Gomez and the fragility that he has of staying fit, considering that we might have to rely on Endo, who I love and think is phenomenal, but I don't want to go through an entire year relying on Endo playing our center half. It gives you flashbacks to when we had to rely on, Fabinho or even Hendo having to play in that role for us. And that's obviously something that resulted in us going out and getting Ben Davies and never playing the hologram. It was a nightmare. So I'll ask you, Baz is on mute, so I'll ask Bryan the same question.
I'm here, by the way.
Oh, you're here. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Baz. Go ahead, Baz.
No, but Brian, whichever, who do you want next?
No, you go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
The question was basically, was it a mistake to sell Quansah at this point in the window, given our center back depth, and who should we now prioritize to strengthen that key position?
Okay, so look, I've always been a little bit unsure about Quansah. I think he's a great talent. I think it's more of a not a personality thing, but he's a sensitive player. I think when he's had issues, or mistakes or little things that go wrong as a youngster, it happens with a youngster. He does suffer it quite a bit, and you see it. And in this game, you know, it's magnified so much when you see him on a bench, like in an Ipswich game, for example, and he looks peed. But look, I think we can still potentially sign another player. I mean, you know, that Gahey link is still not gone. It's gone quiet, but it's not gone. And I think when you look at how we've looked after our team, we know we needed a striker. We're going to get a striker. We needed a number 10. We got a number 10. We lost Trent. We got we are, the point is we are looking after this. And I think when we look at Slot, he's not done nothing wrong so far. And yes, it can be a concern, but I still think we've got time to bring in a centre back, and I really think there is one more signing after a striker, and I think it will be a defender, because Liverpool, they don't do their work, in public if it's not something that they really, you know what I mean. And the Gahey links were very, very publicised, and even the point where they're not spending 50 million or whatever it was, or 70, whatever it was quoted, because he's got a 1-year contract. I do know Crystal Palace will be interested. If they lose someone like Eze to Arsenal, they're going to need like a player in. And I think we've got players that can potentially be a makeshift or a deal. Someone like a Harvey Elliott, for example, or Tyler Morton or whatever. I think we will potentially see a defender, or could be a Jarell Quansah, could be a Gahey. I'm not too worried about the Konate thing. And the reason why I'm not, because I think Liverpool are going along those lines where they're not going to bench him because he's going to want to run down his contract, because it would be a bad look for Liverpool, with players potentially wanting to come, like, if we don't sign, we're going to be benched or we're going to pay on the 23s. They'll probably do what they did with Trent, and just play him and then let him go on a free, because it's important. If we have a great season, and we can potentially have a great season, selling Ibu now is not an option. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of players won't, we are quite tight with our valuation with players. And I think, no one's going to pay that for someone that's got a year left on his contract. I think they'll just try to get him on a free. And I think Ibu only wants Real Madrid, and I think he will end up there at some point. But I do think we have someone lined up for defense. I'm not too concerned. If it was closer to the end of the transfer window, I would probably be a little bit, there'll be more alarm bells. Right now, I still think, because we've moved so early in and brought all our players in we've wanted, barring Isak, which can, by the way, potentially still happen in my view. I think we will cover, we will get a centre back cover. And just finally, the Nalo thing, I'm sorry. I've watched him in the preseason. I've watched him in the other games. I am not convinced that he is Liverpool quality. And I don't think we're in that position right now, because we're that team now. We're on the ascendancy. We ain't going to give him that chance, sadly. But you know what? I could be wrong.
Okay. It's interesting what Hyler just said. Says the Telegraph mentioned today that the Gahey talks, which now has been described advanced, has been put on hold until the Crystal Palace Euro Cup involvement has been sorted out. I thought that it already had been sorted out. It has been
sorted out. It's Nottingham Forest that are going in and they're being demoted. So they are going to play in Europe, but I think it's what's that?
Conference League.
I think they're going to get that one. So I think that's already been sorted.
Mm-hmm. I think it has.
They're appealing it.
Oh, Crystal Palace is appealing it. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Brian? Was it a mistake to sell Quansah at this point in the window? Should we have just maybe
at this point?
Considering what we're left with,
we don't make mistakes. I don't think we make mistakes.
Okay.
In terms of selling players, these boys, I don't think we make mistakes. I think the mistake might have, in terms of being replaced, but no, I think it was the right price for a good player, right age, all of that stuff. I think if you were, to me at the time, if you were basically replacing a Quansah with a Gahey who is somewhat 2 more years experience, can step in a bit more. And it's just for similar money. I don't think we really make that mistake. I don't think that it was a mistake to sell him. The mistake might end up being if we're not able to replace him in the way that we thought we were going to be able to. But I think for obvious reasons, the market went quiet for us. I think, I mean, it would be, I know we're making, but it would be absolutely, completely and utterly insane to think that we don't buy another centre half this summer. We're not selling, like, we knew we needed a new centre half, and then we sold Quansah. So it might not be tomorrow, it might not be Mark Gahey, it might not, but we will buy a new centre half. I mean, we're not going into next year with Gomez, VVD, and Ebo as our back four. That's,
Right.
we will buy. We will bring someone in.
My follow-up question.
Yeah, and like you said, but 12, and you made the point earlier on, I made it last night. There is nobody there in the academy that's saying, putting their hand up and saying, I'm the next Quansah.
Right.
There isn't. Like, Walidi, look, he might get there. Nalo might get there.
But they're not ready.
The other dude, I've forgotten his name, might get there, but they're not there now. They're not ready to step into the breach. Are you saying he can play next season if Konate is injured and Virgil has a sore ankle? You tell me he can start in the Premier League? No, that's what we need. Is a guy that you can say, oh, can be Gomez and Gahey. Cool. But we're nowhere near. There is no one, unfortunately. We've got a Rio on the wing, but we don't have a Rio at the back. We don't have a Harvey Elliott, from 5 years ago at the back. So we have to go into the market. Absolutely, we have to go into the market. The Gahey thing, I think that will resurface. I think that will come back up. He's just too sensible a signing not to get it done.
Hi, Laura. I did bring up the Ordonez yesterday as a possible. I know that he's a talented player. He played well in Champions League for Club Brugge. I think that they.
Yeah, and Max. Sorry, Max. I was referring. I'm not saying the club has never made mistakes. I'm saying these people
that are
at the moment. Yeah.
I think we're in a better position now.
Yeah.
We're in a better position now. And look, we've just spent quite a lot of money to dominate. So I don't think Liverpool are going to make a silly mistake by making our forwards and our midfield and our attacking lineup brilliant, and we're going to leak defenders, knowing that we may be losing a player, or we're going to be caught short by selling Quansah. I think we will see something decent as well in defence that may arrive before the end of the window. I think I'm confident with that.
My follow-up question though was with Konate's unresolved contract, because I think unfortunately with his contract that there's been rumors out there that he's being offered contracts and he's turned them down. So I don't know exactly what his personal evaluation of his wage should be, but I did hear though that he has been offered 200,000 or 220,000, something like that, and that was turned down. So with the unresolved contract situation, does this possibly mean that we not only have to go out and get a Mark Gahey, great, but does this mean possibly that we have to not only get one, or we need two center backs, not just one, basically? Do you think that's the case? I'll ask Bernie the question first.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we do need two. I mean, because Joe, although, I do really rate him, and I think when he's fit, he's probably one of our most versatile players, and he can play in all sorts of positions, but we don't know whether we'll keep him fit. So I do agree we do need two. But like when you look at the two that you need, Gahey, yeah, if we can get him in, but I'd just like to know who everybody else thinks is the second person that could slot in.
Great question. Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you basically, do you think that Yes, okay. Gahey certainly can be slotted in as a starter, or even if we do keep Konate and we don't sell him this year, or maybe we resign him. Who knows? But like he could
I've
be.
been, yeah,
I was
I've
just going
been,
to ask one question to you, Bernie.
sorry.
No worries. I'll ask you this one question. If we do go out for a second center half, does that center half have to be a first team starter style center half, or is it a project center half?
Well, first of all, I wanted to just say about Konate. I've been saying to Brian, on his podcast, I've got a feeling Konate doesn't really want to go.
Yeah, subscribe to Anfield Irishman, by the way.
Yeah, I'll put that in a minute. Yeah, and I've got a feeling that Konate really doesn't want to go. And I know we keep hearing all this in the ether, about him, but I think if he could get the contract he wanted, he would stay. And then we'd only have to look at maybe somebody like Gahey, and then everything else would settle down. Joe would be in the background to float. But if, Ibu's not going to stay, we definitely need somebody else. But I'll be honest, I don't know who that somebody else is, because I've been looking around myself here to see who we could get, and I can't see anybody that at the moment that would slot in.
Mm-hmm. I have my own personal perspective, but I'll allow for the rest of the panel to answer that question too, and then you guys can kind of like shell off of what I have my thoughts. But I'll ask Baz the question. Same question: do we need two? And if so, the same way Lady B just asked the question of who's that second? Is it a project like a Euro style player, or is it like a promising project like as in a Huijsen? Obviously those are players that we're not going to get, but I mean like in that mold.
Yeah.
Or is it a outright starter?
Yeah, for me, look, I'll be honest with you. Over the last couple month or so, I haven't really been online and even looked at football. Obviously, with the Jota thing, rest in peace. So I haven't really been watching a lot of football, and I'll be honest, I tend to watch more Premier League stuff now. So I don't know really what else is out there in terms of Europe. But what I would like to see, if we spend all this money, I want dominance, yeah. And what I want is potentially Ibu might not be here, all right, and that's fine. He makes his choices or whatever. He goes. But I do want a starter, and I want someone that is potentially Premiership proven. Even if we do find someone that is like big league, player in Europe, I wouldn't mind that either. But what I think is important that we dominate, and we showed other clubs that we mean business, and we do need to bring in players that are ready now. I know some people might argue that Ekitike thing, because he can potentially be someone that's just learning the Premier League and stuff like that. But in terms of defense, you concede, and you got a strong defense. With Ali and all the others at the back, we don't lose games. So I think we do need a starter to challenge Ibu, and obviously cover for Van Dijk while Ibu is still here. And even if Ibu does sign a contract, I'll be so happy as well. It just adds strength and depth in there, and then we can potentially pay like a free centre back thing, and change, variations and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I mean, like, look, I like to have options, and I want, now we're in such a strong position, 12th man, and chat. We are a team that everyone is fearing, and I want us to be like, yo, we are here, we're staying here, and I just want to see Premiership proven players, or players that can start right now. We can potentially have an injury, hopefully knock wood we don't, in the start of the season to a big player, and we're in trouble. And I do want someone that's a starter. But saying that, I wouldn't even mind if Ibu signs another contract. Crazy things do happen. I wouldn't even mind like someone that is young and promising. Do you know what I mean? I'm open to the idea.
You're open to totally understand. I'm gonna put up some selections here. These are 5 choices that I think are choices that I would possibly throw out as being maybe some selections that we could make as being first choice, and obviously a second choice being the 2 center halves that we target. I didn't allow Brian. Brian, did you want to?
No, go ahead. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. Do your thing.
I apologize.
No, do your thing. You go. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. I'll go to you first, though.
The lads covered it very well, anyway. The lads covered it.
Yeah. I'll go to you first. These are 5 players I think that would be, or 5 players I think should be targets for us. And I didn't put possibly my favorite, and I think Brian, one obviously, or not obviously, but honestly, Brian, one of Brian's favorites, Bastoni, in that list. I think that he should be one of them. But from this list, can you pick out 2 center halves that you would want to target as your top choices? And if you don't think that this list is adequate enough for you, who would you change out? And again, that's not putting in Bastoni, obviously.
Yeah, because I think you'd like this certain as well. But see, this is the thing as well. If you were doing a list like this last year, a little bit off topic, I know, and you'd put in, say, this was an attacking midfielder list or a number 10 list, and you'd put Wirtz into this, I would have said something along the lines of, obviously Wirtz number 1, but we will never buy Florian Wirtz because he'll go to Madrid. This is why I need to just, this is how big this guy is for us. Is a year ago, it's like, well, obviously he would be number 1 pick, but we ain't getting a Florian Wirtz,
Right.
That's the way this is, so it doesn't matter who we buy. Forget about Isak. We got fucking Florian Wirtz, lads. For British record fee. We should be, that's the big Christmas present. We're all done. But if you were to say we could start next season, there's 3. I mean, I could make a lot of combinations. Hato to me is a left back. Okay, for me, he's not an option as a long-term centre half right now. Schlotterbeck is a great player. Leone is the classic kind of 2 or 3 years time type thing. So if you say Gahey and Leone, I think that would be very good, like in terms of bringing in the young kid or bringing in, if you said to be Zabarni and Leone, I like that works really well. I wouldn't take like Hato and Leone, that'd be too bad. But if you wanted to go like really high end, which I don't think we would, maybe, but if we brought in Gahey and Zabarni, that would be superb business. They are the 2 best centre halves on that list for me, definitely. So any combination of Gahey and Zabarni plus a Leone, yes. But if we were to go, we're just going to have the best transfer window ever, so let's just keep doing it. Gahey and Zabarni as, the obvious replay. Like, we tried to buy Dean Hyson before we even sold anybody.
Yeah, Anfield
Roar sold anybody, and we tried to buy Gahey, or we tried to buy Hyson. So if we sell a Quansah, you bring in a Gahey and a Zabarni, Jesus Christ, come on, lads. Seriously, this is madness type stuff. Schlotterbeck and Gahey would be incredible, I think. But Zabarni, yeah, the Leone one is the punt kind of one. So, but I think Zabarni, because it looked like he was going to PSG, that looked like that was a done deal, and has kind of pretty much dried up. Definitely nothing happening there. He's a top player. Everyone's, all the talk is about Hyson. Hyson is basically like a kind of a Cruyff, not a Cruyff, a kind of a Beckham. He's a libero. He's there for the progression. He's there to almost be an attacker at the back, which is why Alonso is using the back 3 there as well. Whereas Zabarni is just he is a defender. Zabarni is an out-and-out defender. If you want someone to be a top, all your metrics, all your stats for defensive-wise, Zabarni is right up there. Hyson's a ball.
Who do you think is the best? I'll ask this, and then let's get Baz and Lady B's choices from that list as well. They can answer the same question that I'm about to ask you. Who do you think is the best potential partner for Virgil van Dijk, though?
Going
Because
forward,
if you
like
bring in
as
a player that is similar, I mean, there's not many players that are similar.
Zabarni.
Zabarni. Okay, simple enough. Simple
Yeah.
as.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gay's very progressive.
Mhm.
Gay's a very progressive player as well. So, yeah, I like a Zabarni VVD partnership. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Rohr is saying he wants to bring in Lukiba.
He's also someone who is basically a left back that can play centre half or in
Yeah,
a
very
three.
much like a
He's not
Hato.
in a
Yeah.
very very similar in terms of Luque and Hato would be defensive left backs. That's how I would define them, defensive left backs who can do a job in centre half as opposed to centre halves who can do a job as a left back.
Okay. How about Lady B? What would be your? I can bring up the list again if you want me to see, or maybe you have.
Hato isn't even that defensive, by the way. Hato is very good going forward. He's very effective going forward.
Mm-hmm. I did have him in this. I have him in my list here. This is in no order, by the way. It's just, I was going to say if you wanted to put the number that it was associated with, if you didn't want to write the whole name. But definitely do as some have already done in the chat. Tell us who you think should be the two center halves that we go after. And if one of those center halves isn't on this list, then put in your entry with the others as well. But
technically, for me, I'm probably not looking at it as the same way as you guys do, but I think Gahey's a leader, and he could probably take over from Verge. So you could say, well, he'll play well alongside him. He's strong, and he's vocal on the pitch. But I do like Hato, although I don't know, he doesn't look that tall. You guys will know better than me, but he doesn't look that big, for a defender. And I know that people say he's a left winger. Other people say he can play both centre back. Other people say he can't. But I like him. I like his passion and aggression. So I'm sort of going all over the place at the moment. But if we couldn't get Gahey in or Hato, I agree with Anfield Draw. I like Lukeba. I think he's very strong. I like him. So I'm on the fence, basically.
Okay. It's easy said. Baz, what would you say would be your center half? And if you don't, I mean, I've seen some other names in the list. Yeah. I've seen Lukeba. I've seen Scalvini. I like Scalvini too. The only thing about Scalvini is very much similar to Schlotterbeck is that he got a really bad knee injury. He's the Atalanta center half. I think he was phenomenal against us in that series.
Yeah.
There was another name I saw in here too that if you want to like.
No, I already know. I already know who I
you want. Okay. I think it was Murillo from Forest. The other name.
Yeah, Morello. So I think. Look, I mean, there's a great one here in the chat. Helio, I think his name is.
Hyler. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry, I butchered your name, bro.
No worries. Hyler Matias.
Yes, that's it. The boring defender thing that that keeps his cool and does the right thing every time.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
That reminds me of Jamie Carragher, and we had a song about have a team full of Jamie Carragers, and something. That's what I want. I want someone to keep their cool. I want someone to just play football, not in the limelight. Is a leader. Mm-hmm. He's got all those things, and he's Premiership proven, and he's won. Mm-hmm. He's won a trophy. He won a trophy last year, and he's good. And we get him for like relatively, at a good price. And
Harry Maguire.
Excuse me,
Harry Maguire. No,
you're crazy. Get him off. Get him off here, man.
I know. He's got the ability to bring himself back into the panel, so I can't take him off.
No, but seriously, Gahey would be my first choice. And something, Slotterbeck, he is. Look, I like him as well, but I think I want to see what he's about when he comes back from his ACL, because I can speak from experience what ACLs do, and obviously you've seen what happened with Van Dijk, and he come back fast and great and brilliant. But Zabani as well is very interesting, and I think Brian's actually hit the nail on the head with everything. I think Gahey and Zabani are my two favorites in that list.
Okay.
Obviously Sletterbeck.
You can put another name in there if you want. You can put
Yeah. I mean,
those are just 5. Those are my 5 on my radar right at the moment.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't been watching a lot of football lately, but I did watch a little bit of the, was it the under 21s Euros, and I watched Hato a little bit as well. And I have to say, in that particular tournament, he didn't impress me. Hato, I know he's very, he's very well thought of young player. I know he has the ability to play more left back than centre back. I know he's explosive. And I mean, the thing is, we're quite good for left backs at the moment. And I don't know if he just lodges someone like a Van Dijk, because Van Dijk plays on the left, doesn't he? Of the centre backs and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, what is he, like 19 plus?
He's young.
19. He's a kid. Like.
Yeah, and you know what? He may have a great ceiling, and he might be, again, the Dutch, thing going on at Liverpool as well. It could be a brilliant thing, but I do know Arsenal rate him really highly as well. So I do think at some point, if we don't act to get him now, if Liverpool don't think he's the one now, I think Arsenal at some point will get him. But for me, I think Gahey and Zabani would be the one. I wouldn't mind Slotterbeck, and I just think Lukeba as well. As Brian said, he has the ability to be quite versatile as well as Hato. So those others would be my choices personally.
Well,
I mean, Gahey and Zabani is a top quality centre half partnership. By the way, that's a top quality.
You know what, Brian? Honestly, Brian, I think if we could get Gahey or Zabani, and if some crazy madness, we get Isak as well. I don't know. I still have a feeling there's something with Isak. I don't know when, but I think he will be a Liverpool player at some point. This is probably in my time. And remember, with me and you and probably the others on here have gone through some bad times, and we've gone for some good times as well as Liverpool supporter. But this will be one of the best transfer windows we've had in the longest time.
Apart from Bernie, Bernie's only 21. Bernie's only 21. So
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
There you go. So definitely tell us in the comments section if you didn't get a chance to put the names that you think should be our center halves. Definitely leave them after the show in the comment section who you think should be our future center halves. If I could have my choice, I'd get if I do what Lady B just suggested, I get Saliba and let's go get Bastoni and we'll call it a wrap. So anyway,
well, look, I'm already 12 man. Look, I'm already kind of floating around this area where now I'm like, okay, this is not too bad. But if we were to go and buy Isak, then I'm genuinely expecting to wake up at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, if we were to that, then I'd be expecting to wake up in a gutter somewhere. Yeah, that was a hell of a dream. That was a hell of a dream.
Yeah. When you bring you back from,
it was good.
They bring you back from like get in a coma, and something like that.
It ends up we've got Sharky and Visa or something in real life. Like no. Right. But right now, like I said, man, like I said, someone earlier on, look, we do a few bits and pieces. We're a good club. Any window that involves Liverpool Football Club breaking the British transfer record to bring Florian Wirtz to our club
twice, possibly even doing it twice.
But we're golden. Just with that, we're golden. Whatever else bits and pieces we would have done around that, we don't need to break it again for Visa. We tried as well. Yeah, you can put that down that we tried to do that. This is already
some real ambition to say that you broke the transfer record. And then you went back into to break your own record.
Yeah, you told my wallet was empty. You thought I was finished. No. Yeah, I want that Porsche, but guess what? I'm also here to buy the Ferrari as well. Okay.
Well,
Very
this next,
impressive. Very impressive.
yeah, it would be. It certainly would be.
Heritage, son. Heritage.
This next segment is Welcome in Deutschland. Diaz,
Sorry,
possible?
Clive, can I ask Baz a quick question because he hasn't been
sure.
on my show in a
Because
while.
it was probably better than my German was right there. So go
No,
ahead.
it'll be really, really quick. You can get to practice it. You can get to
No,
read
I'm
it
not
again in your
trying.
head. No, read it through again in your head and you can try it again. Baz, do you think if we don't buy Isak this summer, we will never buy him, or do you think if we don't buy him this summer, we might still try again next year?
Do you know something, Brian? Yeah, I personally think Newcastle are struggling to bring in players, and you know they obviously they bought Alanga and stuff like that. Yeah, I think a lot of clubs have struggled. They're in the Champions League. I think that they may potentially, if they don't buckle up with some players or sign some players soon, they're going to have problems. And I think we may even try to get him in January. I really think maybe January or potentially next summer again. The reason why I think they'll try again because they do really rate him. Liverpool, you know how Liverpool work. They don't really air their their clothes in public that much, and they've already made it that he's a dream signing. They want him, ratata. I do think there is a window to that, though. I do think that they will try to get him in January and potentially summer. But if they don't get him between those two windows, I think then he would probably be past that age where they will go and pay a big fee for a player. I just think with potentially Nunes not going to be there or might be there, or whatever. Obviously, God rest his soul, with Jota, we effectively need maybe two kind of strikers if you're not going to give Jadon Danns an opportunity, or bring in like a Mateta or someone that could play second fiddle. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I just think it's one of those real weird football 12 man, isn't it? It's like one of those real, it's going to sound really stupid if you say it, but
what, my German?
it's like, no,
Okay.
yeah, no, like, yeah, like you're trying. It's like, he's 26 now,
Uh-huh.
and I think we should buy him now. He's 26. He's worth, yeah, we should go for 130 million. But just 1 year later, you're going, well, he's 27 now.
Yeah, going on 28. Yep.
So it's like just in the space of a year, the perception shift is right now. It's like, yeah, go get him.
Right. Yeah.
In 1
You know
year's
what,
time, it's like, do we still go get this guy? It's weird though. It's
Sorry, Brian. You know what? I'm sorry to cut you, but you know you're right. But you know the thing is, his stock right now is because Newcastle are in Champions League. That's all it is, you mate. I think next year he ain't a £150 million player. I think he's a £90 million player because I don't think Newcastle will finish in the top four next year, and you know he then will want to make noise.
They only got it this year because they finished in the fifth place thing, Baz. It's only because of the fifth place
That's
thing that they
right.
got it this year.
Yeah, ultimately
They
though.
weren't even a top 4 team this year.
No, exactly. But you know, the thing is, they got into it. Even if they scraped into it, yeah, the fact is they're playing Champions League next season. That's where all these players want to play. Yeah, you're 100% right. And I don't think Newcastle, and it feels bad because I feel like I'm disrespecting them. I think I really try not to disrespect them, but I'm just thinking, look, come on, Liverpool and maybe the other teams that didn't qualify, like your Manchester Uniteds and your other clubs that didn't, like your Chelsea. No, Chelsea
Sorry,
did,
repeat
didn't
that. Who was it that didn't qualify for Europe again? Who was it?
Yes,
Man, what was it?
yeah, that Egypt, red devilish
Manchester,
rubbish.
those guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
them
that's
ones.
correct, isn't it? Yeah, they didn't get any European football at all, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not
yeah,
even the Netball Cup.
so yeah, I just think that that his premium's really high right now because they've just about got into the best competition there is in it, and that's why. And they don't really want to sell, and they've just got rid of Callum Wilson. They've got no strikers. They're trying to get people in. They're a mess, as as the last commenter said. But I do think that potentially at 27 years old, he's 20. Is he 25 or 26?
26 now.
Okay, if he's probably just hit 26. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
He's got one more last big move, and I think at 90 million, when things are when they're like, I don't know, 5th or 6th next year, he will be making noise, and he will say, "Look, I stayed," because he's not making that noise about leaving Newcastle that much. He's gonna say, "Look, I stayed. I won a cup competition." They will have money at some point again, if they don't spend because of their FFP thing, whatever it is. They will potentially say, "Okay, off you go," and they'll probably give it a nominal fee, and not nominal, but obviously like, I don't know, like an 80, 90 million. And nowadays that's going to be the next affordable thing, because right now it's 50 million. It's just like a bargain nowadays. So yes, I think people.
Sorry, can I ask a question to panel and to chat, if you don't mind? Do you think first of all, do you think we're fixated on Isak? Because the reason I'm saying that is, if we get him or we don't get him this year, because given that we got a lot of goals from Salah, and given that we've always got a lot of goals from other players, we're quite unique in the fact that we can pick up goals from anywhere else on the pitch. They're all capable of throwing them in. And then if we don't get Isak and we get Ekitike, who's a good goal scorer, and we know Wirtz can score, and then Gakpo and everybody else who's around. So are we wrong to just fixate on Isak, and should we just move on with our own business? And because or do we really need him? That's my question.
It's a good question.
Very good question.
Very good question.
Can I start this one off?
Sure, go ahead, Baz.
Yeah. Okay. We are a bit fixated by him, for sure. He does have his issues, injuries and stuff like that potentially. But last year, he was brilliant, and he's a great striker, and he's got that swagger. He's a creator. He scores goals. He's probably, there's not many great strikers or number 9s at the moment, and I think he's probably the best out of the bunch. And I think right now, with how Liverpool are carrying on, they want the best of the bunch, and we need a striker effectively, or two. And I just think he's the best out of that bunch. And if we could have got him this season, being at 25 and that, and the way we play, and remember Salah obviously had a brilliant season last year. At some point, and I hope it doesn't, but at some point his numbers may drop down a little bit, because you might have Wirtz now that might be doing all that kind of stuff or whatever. I think we do need someone like him. I don't know if it's fixated as such, but I think we're looking at the best at the moment, and I think he's the best at the moment in terms of that position. And it's a position we need to fill, and I think he'll be brilliant for Liverpool. And I don't want to see him at any other club, because I think he bangs. But yeah,
Fair enough.
Well, I wouldn't say fixated. I would say focused. Like Max or like Baz says, we need a player, or we want a player in that position, and we're focused on him because we know he's the best in the business right now that's available. And this is the thing also, like Baz is saying, like, he's got that swagger. We saw what he did to Virgil van Dijk, we know how good this guy is. 2 years, 20 plus goals in the Premier League. 2 years in a row, 20 plus goals in the Premier League. Alan Shearer never did that. Alan Shearer never scored plus 20 in the Premier League in consecutive seasons for Newcastle. Isak has, right? You're talking about all this. He's going to be hearing that all day. You're one of the best, man. You're this, you're that. And he's like, yeah, and I'm playing for a club that's won one trophy in 50 years, and I won that. He's too good. He's going to know. He's 26 years old in September, as KJ was pointing out. He's never won a league title. I'm not saying he's been Messi since he was 18, but he's never won a league.
First point,
He's never won anything. He's too good to finish his career having just won one league trophy or one League Cup trophy with Newcastle, and maybe he leaves and goes to Barcelona when he's 31, plays there for a year and wins a league or something. No. He's going to have all those things that Baz is saying about him. He's going to be hearing that from all those people around him. You're one of the best in Europe right now. Ekitike is 86 million. What are you worth, dude?
Right.
Do you think he doesn't have friends sitting there beside him going, have you seen this Sesko shit for 100 million? Sesko for 100 million? If he's 100 million, you're one of the best strikers in the Premier League. You're 200 million. What are you going to play for Newcastle?
Brian, do you think, all right, so you're 100% right. All right, but let me ask you this, all right? This is the guy that Can
We got to make
Newcastle?
this the last point too, so we can get
Okay,
on to the
sorry, yeah.
next section. Go ahead.
Just
Dom.
quickly, yeah, just quickly, yeah. He's at that age, yeah. It's his last probably big contract, yeah.
Mhm.
Are Newcastle going to win Champions League next year in the Premier League? Because that's what most people want, and he's the best striker at the moment on, you know, in my opinion, on the planet. This is, you know, I don't think this guy. I think this guy is actually starting to see that. He is not making too much noise, and I think it's just his respect. He's a respectful player. He seems very respectful. He don't want to upset the thing, innit? But you know, he definitely does need a move, and I think he will get that big move. If it's not this window, next window, definitely summer next year. And I just hope we're the ones in for him, because if I don't think Barcelona could afford him, I'm not even thinking PSG would look at him, because they've got like great players there anyway. Real Madrid don't. It would just be maybe Arsenal, Liverpool, potentially Man City. And that's what I worry about. I want him now because he wants to come now. And if we can wrap him up now, bruvs, I am happy.
Okay. Yeah. We got to move on to this next segment because we want to try to definitely get all these topics in before we come up too close to the 2-hour mark. We're at the 90-minute mark right now. So I will say, I'll rephrase it because the first try was pretty poor. But I'll say Empfang in Deutschland. Hopefully that's right. Empfang in Deutschland. That means welcome in Germany. Welcome to Germany. Diaz, possibly. So let's just move into this next subject, which is Liverpool instantly rejected Bayern's 58.6 million opening bid, reportedly valuing Diaz closer to 86 million pounds. He was brilliant last season. I've always knew that he had that capability in him, and he was able to shine, playing in a different position for us, playing in a position of necessity for us as our striker last year, and had 17 goals, 8 assists, helped us win the title. And Arne Slot, I think, wants to keep him, honestly does. But here's the tension, or here's the issue. Reports say Diaz has already agreed to personal terms with Bayern Munich, a contract that is said to go up to 2029. And here is the other caveat of that. Apparently, they're willing to offer him a salary of £233,000 a week. I don't even know what that is in euros, but that's a lot. And much more than his current contract. I know that there's been reports about him making £55,000 a week. I've also heard reports out there saying that he makes £140,000 a week. That's a big difference, by the way. But Diaz, all the same, is frustrated, apparently. He's on the contract he signed in January 2022, while others like Salah and VVD have gotten new deals and gotten bumps to their salaries. He remains still at the number that he's at. At 28, this may be his last big payday. I believe it will be. And Bayern reportedly think Liverpool might sell once Ekitike arrives, and the books need some balancing. So what do we do? Sell now for a huge profit? Offer him a new deal? Hold firm and risk value dropping next season? It's a tricky one for the club. It's a tricky one for possibly even us to answer. So I'll ask the panel, and you can weigh in the chat too. Should Liverpool cash in on Lucho while Bayern's interest is strong? Or is he simply too important to let go no matter the financial offer? I'll ask that of Baz, then go to Lady B, and then go to Brian.
For me, every player has his price. So if it interests Liverpool, they'll do business. Pretty much like Isak that they did with us. If a player's under contract, then he's our player. You can agree. This seems to be the new thing nowadays. And for me, it's like tapping in a different way. How are you agreeing personal deals and talking to our players when they're under contract and we've not given any permission? Liverpool have firmly said when he's not for sale. Diaz has always split opinions over the years that he's been here. Some people would argue it's his injury that he sustained at Arsenal those years back, that he's not like he was before. But last year, he did brilliantly well. And, I think he is an important player for Liverpool. in a way where he's a ball carrier, and we didn't have many ball carriers. He's tenacious, he's good at, but his end product has been poor generally. But last year he was decent. We might have a ball carrier now in terms of like Verts and stuff like that. Maybe players might be doing a bit more, but every player has his price, and if it suits Liverpool, they'll sell him. But my concern in all of that is, again, if you sell, and we're at this point where we're just investing and we need to be good, you make sure if we sell him, you go buy Rodrigo or someone like that, or Barcola or something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't be upset if we sold him, but I wouldn't even be upset, if we kept him either, because based on last year, he done decent. He done really well when he played in two positions, obviously the front line. And if we don't buy a second striker and we only have Ekitike, then he can fill in that position as well. Because remember, we're one light now with the obvious of Jota. So I don't know about this. I'm quite 50-50. I wouldn't be upset if he stayed. I wouldn't be upset if we sell him for good profit. But yeah, every player has his price, I think, ultimately. And if they come with some big money, Liverpool will be like, yo, okay, cool. But if there's a good player to replace him, and there is at this moment in time, i.e. Rodrigo, then, it could be a good thing. But yeah, we'll see. Because he's nearly finishing it in terms of his contract. His contract at some point will be finished. He's going to want money. I don't blame him. These stuff about he's on 55 and stuff like that, I don't know for truth. No one really ever does these days and that. But yeah, he's been a brilliant servant, and I'm happy if he stays or goes.
Okay. That was a very political answer. It's like some like to say I give. Okay. How about for you? It's a pretty, yeah. I know. So the vibe is rubbing off maybe on you a little bit. Lady V.
I'd say in the main, I agree with what Baz has just said, but I would say that I think if a player as mentally is checked out and he wants to play for somebody else and he wants to move on, it's very hard to get him back and get him into the right mindset, because his head might be somewhere else. And, even if we give him the wages he wanted, is he professional enough to think, or is he unsettled? So I'm a bit like Baz. If we can't get anybody else, I'm quite happy to keep him. But if we can get good money for him and we've got a good backup to come in, then I'd say let him go. If he was 24, it might be a bit different, but he's 28, isn't he? We're going to be sort of looking at him in another year or two to move him on anyway. So if we get a good price for him, I'd say let him go.
Okay. Bryan, how about for you? I'll ask you this question: How much does Diaz's wage disparity with our other top players factor into this? In your opinion, is the club right to hold firm and possibly allow for his contract to just run out, or just not settle for the price that they have in mind, that 86 million, as close as possible at least to that 86 million pound evaluation, or does he deserve a new deal?
Deserved. Look, sometimes you can get into the weeds on stuff, but something I always say, look, life is all about timing. Okay, life is all about timing, and the time was not right for us to increase his contract to 200 grand. When were we supposed to do that? When? 2 years ago? What? When he just arrived and he was doing okay?
If the rumor is right about that, I don't know if you have.
No, but this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, everyone can agree. This is what's complicated, right? Everybody can agree that Luis Diaz should be earning more than his base. Let's just say his base is 55K, and we all know that.
No, that's what. Can I just quickly interject one thing? All I was going to say is there is a difference. If it's 55K, that's one thing. But if he's on 140, like some reporters are reporting,
exactly,
That's a big difference.
Yeah, and nobody knows, but we all know that Liverpool is one of the most highly bonus incentivized clubs on the planet, right? So there is no final guaranteed wage, right? So he's not earning a base. And as I've made the point so many times on my show, our wage bill broke a record this year because of the amount of bonuses we paid out, right? So Diaz ain't doing 55K if we're winning the fucking Premier League, right?
Okay,
He gets
KJ's saying his base
a
is
lot.
55K and 140.
Exactly. Look, yeah,
He's
but
saying
if we won the Champions League, he would have earned even more, right? So there is no, he's on this. So the whole kind of thing about, look, okay, we signed him. It's not our fault that he's 28, 29 now, right? It's not our fault that he's a late bloomer. We picked him up relatively cheap. We quadrupled his wages. We have turned this guy into a superstar and given him the platform to be able to speak to clubs like Bayern and Barcelona. And to be about, we have done everything for this guy. He's worked hard for us. We have made him into a superstar. Okay, so it's not our fault he's on 55K. Couldn't we have bumped it up? When? What were we supposed to do? Give him 200K 3 years ago? When? When was this supposed to happen? So he's made it quite clear. He's communicated to the club that he wants to leave Liverpool. If Trent Alexander-Arnold had come out and told the whole world knew that he had told Liverpool that he wanted to leave, everyone would be on his neck. But now, because they all basically want to hate on FSG, they will give Diaz a free pass for saying he wants to go in the press and he wants to leave. It's like, oh, well, why wouldn't you for 55K a week? He's been held to ransom. He's been blah, blah, blah. It's not our fault he's a late bloomer. It's not our fault that the timing is like, we're not going to give a guy who's 28 going on 29 the money that he wants on a 4-year deal. We might give him, and it's been said that we will up his wages if he doesn't get the move that he wants to Barcelona or Bayern.
Yeah, the
That's been
Fabrizio
said.
thing you
We're
showed
prepared to up
yesterday
his
said
wages.
that. The Fabrizio
Yeah.
said that he's got a new deal if he stays. Yeah.
Yeah, to up it, but I guarantee you that'll be a wage increase and not a new length of contract by like 4 years. It might be one more year, right? So this is a guy that wants to leave. Like, people need to understand, he wants to leave Liverpool. It's not we're forcing him out. He has decided he wants to leave. And then people say, oh, well, that's only because of the wages. Okay, I can't help those people. Okay, so just accept that he wants to leave and just stop slagging off the ownership, please. On this Diaz one, please, people, stop slagging off the owners. Saying, oh, well, I'd leave if I was on 55K. Okay, cool. We're basically holding them to ransom. I think it's disingenuous a lot what's going on here. He wants to go. They'll give him the money. Let Bayern give us our fee. That's why it's always been a not for sale thing. Give us the fee. Barcelona treated him like shit. Put all these Operation Luis Diaz tweets out while it's going for Nico Williams. Then the Nico Williams deal falls through. Where are they now? They haven't even gone for Diaz since. So just go to Bayern, get the fee off them, and get your 4 deal, because we all know Bayern will pay. Bayern are paying a 39-year-old Manuel Neuer about 400 grand a week. They'll give Diaz 290, 300 until he's 32. They'll have no problem. Cool. Everyone, happy days for everyone. Happy days for everyone.
You know what? I agree to a lot of the things that you're saying in terms of, like, the 4-year contract at some ridiculous money. Liverpool should not be doing that, and they won't do that. I agree with that bit, Brian. You know what, though? There's just something about, we're in a great position now, this club, at this moment in time. And, even like someone like Ibu, yeah, and Diaz in this, yeah, they both want wages. They want bigger wages. I'm not sure what they're getting, 55, 140, whatever whatever it is that Diaz is on, yeah. I think, all right, if I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think this guy actually wants to leave Liverpool for Bayern Munich. I think, yes, he's always said from day dot, and this is one thing that I always had a problem with Diaz. When he first signed for Liverpool, there was like early into his Liverpool career, he did mention he wanted to go to Barcelona, That's and to be fair, a lot of South American players do want to go to Barcelona or Real Madrid, and that's fine. I get that. That's what they want. Yeah. But he said that too early in his career at Liverpool, and I didn't like that. But he's still up there, and I rate him. He's got his good things and he's got his bad things. But I really think this guy, yeah, I would still keep him. If we, I'm not, like I said, I'm 50-50 on him, like staying or going. Yeah, but I think, I don't think he wants to go to Bayern Munich. I think I don't know what's happened here. Yeah, maybe it could be like, well, you're not offering me money and you're just prepared to let my contract go. I'll just go, or whatever it is. I do think if we do offer him something, and remember, it's always like newspaper. A lot of them they talk a lot of rubbish. Some people might talk a little bit. They know certain things, but I don't think he wants to leave for Bayern Munich. I really think that he might have agreed something because he might be getting money. But I think if Liverpool matched that kind of money, he'll stay. And he'll wait till his contract finishes or an extension of maybe 2 years or whatever. And then he probably might go to somewhere like Barcelona on a free. But I don't know. It's just there's a little bit of me saying that he doesn't really want to leave. And why would you want to leave?
Do you think his father could be fueling that time, Baz?
Could possibly be, because they're quite close in it, especially since what happened to his dad.
Yeah, his dad's living his best life. Trust me.
Right, exactly. And I don't blame him, because he could be gone. I mean, it's already proven. But they've always wanted to go Barcelona, innit? To be fair, and I think maybe you're right, Bernie. I think his dad is maybe convincing him, because it's just not normal. He's at a great club, and even the little things, I don't want to go too deep into it, but obviously went with Jota and then he was out there in, another country, like, dancing and stuff like that. Something's not quite right with him. I don't know what it is. Is it the money or is it the thing? And if it is a money thing, then I'm more likely to say, you know what, if you're about money and not the club and doing what's right for the club, like people like Salah and Van Dijk last year, they didn't worry about their contracts. They just said it'll happen when it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. They did a great job for us, both of them. And I don't want players playing for money. I want them playing for the club, loving the club. If you're not happy, then yeah, by all means, goodbye.
It's like Brian said when he came to us, he was on 11 grand or something a week, which is fantastic for a lot of people, let's face it. But that's what he was on, and then we put him on maybe 50, and that. But at some stage, they're putting it out there that that's all he's getting, when there are reports to the contrary of that he's actually getting double that. But for his dad, which it seems to be, it's not enough. It sticks in my throat a bit, I'll be honest, because I think about the private jet that Liverpool, private plane actually, not a jet, a plane that they chartered to bring his friends, his family, and extended family over when his dad was picked up. And it's easy to have a kick out at the club, but why not actually thank them for some of the good things they've done as well? And I think it's a bit ungrateful, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The question that got asked here was from Anfield Roar. He said I was being diplomatic in my answer, because I gave my answer in the chat. But he said, who is better, Diaz or Hakpo? Or Cody? I'll say Cody. Lucho or Cody? In your opinion, just give a one word answer. Baz, who's the better player?
That's a
or you could go like I said. I said they're equal.
They both have their qualities, but slightly edging it. I would say Diaz, based on his carrying of
ball control.
Yeah.
Lady B.
Yeah, if it was down to goals, I'd say Gakpo. But if it's down to work rate and effectiveness on the pitch, I'd say Diaz.
Okay. Brian? Oh, Brian's on mute, so he might not be available. But I can guess. I'm assuming. It is an assumption, and I know what they say about assuming. But I think he's going to say Cody, because I know he's a big fan of Cody.
Brilliant, by the way.
They're both brilliant. That's why I gave my answer. I said I think that they're equal in stature, because I think they they both bring different skill sets to the table. I think that, like, just as Lady B just spoke on, if it comes to, sheer power and accuracy in goal scoring, I would say I would edge it towards Cody. But if it's ball control and being able, dribbling and skills, like on those attributes, I would go with Lucho. And then there is something where I think, truthfully, that I do think that Lucho's work rate is higher than Cody's. And I think that not only is his work rate higher, I think that there's times when I've heard people say Cody's been like ghost in this game. He's gone. He's just, he hasn't. You don't recognize him. You don't realize he's even on the pitch. For Lucho, he's just so active and so involved in a lot of different aspects of the game and different areas of the pitch, because he covers so much ground by playing either the left wing or even as our false nine, which is somewhat what he played. I think that it's a difference that you see in Lucho in that aspect. So I mean, if you made me pick, I'd say Lucho, I guess, but I think it's still so close.
Very marginal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a matter of
very marginal. The only thing that I've heard quite often, all right, is Cody Gakpo. He's quite. When I used to play football,
go quiet in games, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, all right, I used to play in a position that he did many years ago when I was a semi-pro, and what I used to base my game on, and that's just me, is I like to be unpredictable because I don't want my fullback knowing what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? And, whereas Gakpo, he's got the power and strength, he's got the finishing better and perhaps.
But you always know he's going to cut. He's going to cut into his right and try to fire something off.
That is what my problem is with him. But like I said, like you said, like everyone said, it's very, very marginal because they're both players.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think Cody's not going to do what he did to Walker, for instance, and in that City game where he's going to put people on skates and have them like doing pirouettes and stuff, like that's not Cody's game. However, if you give Cody a window to shoot in, Cody can score from almost any place on the pitch. So that I will give him. Did you want to, before we move on, Brian, did you want to, I assumed, or I gave my assumption to who you would say, but who would you say? So we can get it official.
I had to step out. I don't know what the question is.
The question from Manfred Rohr was.
Oh, I see it there. Sorry, it was better Diaz. Profile. They're two different. They're two completely different styles of left forward, left winger. Diaz is a winger. He's what we would call a winger. Gakpo is an inside forward. Gakpo wants to cut inside and shoot. Diaz is a winger. He's a creator, an old style. Excuse me, an old style kind of. Don't ask me to score goals. Ask me to create and score goals. Whereas Gakpo, it's like, ask him to score goals. Don't ask him to create a lot. So, but for me, I've been thinking about Gakpo a lot now. He's 26 now. And we're talking about on my show earlier on. We still have, when you think Gakpo, you think almost word association. You think young player who's just recently joined our club. He isn't. He's 26. He's actually been here a while, and he's never stepped, like, if at the age of 26, if he can't step in now and become Florian Wirtz is 22, by the way, 4 years younger than Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo has never really stepped up and been a main man for us. He has, like you said, he's got the Robin thing. He's Robin on the left, cuts in, shoots. Robin was able to do it and score a lot. Gakpo, to me, I think next year is huge for him.
Yeah.
Next year is absolutely huge. I mean, if he hasn't had the chance now, I don't think either are really good enough for us as a club to where we need to. What? Shut up. Will you shut up, Coco?
No, please. Coco believes Coco doesn't agree with your point.
Big up, Coco.
Yeah. But no, it's just, to me, it's like all of a sudden this guy's going to be 28. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, Gakpo is going to be 28. So yeah, I'm hoping him next year if we play him in that role. But again, I've changed my opinion on where Wirtz is going to start. So I think Wirtz is going to take Gakpo and Diaz's place. not a number 10 spot from Dom Sabazza.
Yeah, I was mentioning that earlier. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah,
I was listening to your show. I heard that you said that you think he's going to be slotted out left as opposed to, and then that allows for Dom to be that 10 in essence.
Well, he will start not as a left winger, but he will, be the left-sided player in a front three, and then become a number 10 who plays from the left and play from. But he's not going to be playing as a left winger. But yeah, we can still have Grav, Mac, and Dom in the middle, and Verts nominally off the left, but he will drop in. Perkins can go around the outside, all that kind of stuff. But he won't be playing as an up and down left winger, tracking back like that. He will be playing as a pocket 10, starting from there, drifting in. Someone can go around. A lot of rotation, a lot of movement. But I that's where I think we're going to start next year. And people, you can't play Verts as a number or as a left winger. No, we will play him as a number 10, but he will move in from that position. That's genuinely what I see happening. Like Verts, Ekitike, Salah, and then three boys in behind him. And then Gakpo, I think Diaz will be at Bayern. Gakpo on the bench. That's what I see happening.
Okay. You didn't say Gak. I'm assuming you're saying, so am I right?
So both right now, Gakpo as a finisher, Diaz as an all-around player.
You had to pick one. Even I picked one.
Gakpo.
I said equal, but I said
Gakpo.
Very marginal, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is really marginal. Yeah, very marginal.
I think next year, like you say, Brad, I think Gakpo's got to end up as a squad player for us, unless he wants to move on. I think he'd be perfect to bring in off the bench, but I don't think he's going to get a first place. It's up to him, but I don't think he's going to do it.
I think he does. I think
he might.
On slot
if,
three.
If Lucho leaves, I'm sorry to speak over you. If Lucho leaves, I think so. But go ahead, Baz.
Yeah, no. I was just going to say, you know what? I mean, since he's come, like I said, he's very, very marginal between the two of them. They're both great in their different ways, isn't it? They do their jobs. But I think just I think with Slot, I think he does potentially prefer Gakpo than Diaz. And that could be through, the Dutch connection thing or the way
I agree.
And it could potentially be because Gakpo's still got a few years left and he's a bit more set. Perhaps Diaz is potentially.
I'd be interested to know why, because I brought this up earlier on, where Slot came in and it went a bit under the radar. People were talking about, and I was bringing up. Well, Slot came in and he said to Cody Gakpo, this came out that they'd had this conversation. And Slot was saying I didn't like seeing you playing number 8 for Liverpool, playing here and there. And I want to see the Cody Gakpo that I saw in Holland at PSV, playing off the left, cutting in, scoring goals, doing all that. I want to see that player. I don't want to ever see you playing through the middle. I don't want to see you in attacking midfield. I want to see that player. And that was kind of, at the time, I was seeing it was like it was a tactical thing. He was coming in saying, I want to see you doing this. I want to see you doing that. That's what you were really good at. That's what you were going to do for me, kind of thing. And it was kind of almost reassuring him tactically. Whereas when I look at it now, I think it was actually more of a motivational thing. I think he looked at Gakpo and he was almost saying, where's that player? I get the Klopp page out of position, yeah. But I want to see that player again. Almost saying to Cody, don't forget who you were. The reason you were is because that guy in Holland, playing out the left, as in cutting in, I'm just banging goals, terrorizing people. He's like, I was managing AZ Alkmaar at the time. You tore my team up a few times. I want to see that guy.
Do you know what?
And I was thinking at the time it was tactical. I think now, I actually looking back, I think it was motivational because he realized it hasn't clicked for him yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what, Brian? You're right with that, yeah, and that's his best position to be playing in that that wide role. He has played on 8 and he's been rubbish. He's been playing on forward. He's been not really well used, okay? But, when he was playing in that position in Holland, and obviously with respect to, that league, it's different to the Premier League. And when he's played in that position, he can roll his players, but his finishing's been a bit of a problem because a lot of the times it's either he hits it high and wide or he's just aiming for Salah at the far post. And that's the thing that, it's a bit too predictable. I want him to actually,
Oh, it needs more variation, Buzz. He needs more. He only has 2 tricks, dude.
Yeah,
Two.
and
That's it. He's got
and
two
when you
tricks.
play
If he
wide,
can't finish it, yeah, he needs variation, right? He needs
yeah,
something.
and if he's got just that 2-trick pony thing, yeah, then potentially on a wide you kind of need a little bit more. That's why I've slightly favoured Diaz a little bit more. But either one, they're great in their ways. But I'd be open to upgrading even with them still there or not there. I think we do need a trickery player. When you look at Salah on the other side, he scores goals. He used to beat his player. Pause. He's been brilliant. And on the other side, they're more. If anything, they've been more productive. Before Diaz and Gakpo, you had Mane. Mane was a hard worker and straight at it. You know what I mean? These two are very different. And then we had Jota on the left as well back in the day. I think I think it'd be good to see a different player there as well at some point.
Well, before we run out of time here, there was the last segment that I wanted to do, and that was on some rival news.
We don't talk about United.
Mbeumo to Manchester United has apparently been
We don't have
completed.
any rivals, dude. We don't have any rivals. It's just us and the rest.
Yeah,
We
who are
don't
they?
have any rivals.
Is that
Us in the
them?
room, right?
15th place. What were they?
There you go. Bryan Mbeumo is officially a United player at 65 million pounds plus add-ons. Brentford absolutely, I believe, really played this well, getting the price up a lot over the initial number that was being offered. Dragged it out for 6 weeks. Used interest in Visa as leverage, pushed them up 20 million from their original opening bid. United will spin this as a disciplined deal and with hard to trigger add-ons. But let's be honest, it's still Manchester United overpaying for another player once again. Yeah. Mbeumo wanted United, as true. He signed for 5 years plus an option. So they're going to have him 5 years plus a potential 6. United now have 2 proven Premier League forwards in Mbeumo and Cunha. But here's my question. Does this significantly move the needle for United? Is Mbeumo worth 65 million to United? And does this deal seriously improve them as a threat? Not to us, but does it improve them as a threat to possibly get back into Europe? That's the big question. What do you think, Lady B?
Well, it's a big question, that, isn't it? I think I like Mbeumo and I like Cunha as players. Are they sort of top players or elite, as we say that we're looking for? No, they're not as good as the players that we're aiming for. We've sort of gone, in my opinion, a step ahead of those. But I do like those players, actually. I think Mbeumo is a good, strong player. For them, if I was a United fan, I'd say they're starting to be real now. Instead of going for huge names and paying through the nose and getting players who think they're bigger than the club, they're getting players who want to play for the club because they think it's a big step for them in their career. And that's what they should have gone for me in the first place. So will they be a threat? No, I think they're a few years away from that. I think they've got a lot of work to do. And in a way, I'm glad that they're in the position that we were when we had to endure all the laughing and, that we weren't good enough and we couldn't win anything. And we had to rebuild, and we've gone through that, and now they're going through that as well. So I think it's work in progress for them, and I think it's good work in progress with those 2 players. But I still don't think they're going to be a threat to us this season.
Okay. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, everything Bernie said. I think they're operating right now in a completely different sphere to us. But because of the amount of money that they make, they're never more than 3 or 4 years away. They're not some dead in the water, finished ass type team. These guys make so much money. They're so high profile. They're not they just need some good management and a few good years, and they will be back near the top. They're not now finishing 14th and 15th type shit. That was a one-off. Let's just be real about that. They're not going to finish second next year, but Mbeumo and Cunha are absolutely brilliant signings for them. I was saying earlier on, like back in the day, yeah, they'd go for Varane and Casemiro, washed, Real Madrid guys for 60 million. No, these are proper, proven, hungry players. Brentford and Wolves want to go to Man United, want to show how good. They're getting it right. These are properly sensible transfers for them to make, which is a little bit annoying and worrying. Like I think they've no European football next year. Like Max is saying, Hoyland and Mbeumo and Cunha is a massive upgrade on Hoyland and Xerxes. And they will make them better. Yes, they will definitely make them better. Is it? So when you're talking about value, it's like, is getting back from 16th to 7th, 8th, 6th, 7th, 8th for Man United next year?
Mhm.
Is that worth it with Cunha? And yeah, definitely. Of course it is. And they won't have egos. And I think Gary Neville spoke before, but there was this kind of disease. Some guys wanted to be. He said people outside didn't realize back in the day there were certain players and managers that were being attracted to Manchester United because they wanted to be the player and the manager that got them back to who they were.
Right. Yeah.
They wanted to be that savior because they knew that if they were that guy, they'd be legends. They'd be like legends for all time. You could win a league with someone, but if you were the guy that comes in and makes Manchester United, makes Manchester United great again, you will be. So he said that was intoxicating to a lot of players and managers. So someone like Mbeumo and Cunha, they don't think they're going to bring him back to the top. But they know if they go in there, that's why someone like Quasi was asking earlier on, why would Mbeumo join Manchester United instead of joining Newcastle? I was like, I'd probably join Manchester United instead of joining Newcastle. I reckon I've just as much chance of winning something at Manchester United in the next 3 years as I do in Newcastle.
Mhm.
And Manchester United is still, is one of the biggest clubs on the planet. Okay, they're shit now, but Manchester United is a million times bigger than Newcastle. That's why Mbeumo is going there. So yeah, it's really annoying, man. I think they're making really sensible purchases with the two of them. Hopefully now they get stuck with Sancho and Rashford and
Yeah.
Garnacho,
They still got
and they have a
some.
£2 billion a
Yeah.
week wage bill, so they can't buy anybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they are kind of irritatingly, annoyingly, really sensible transfers. And in Mbeumo, fair play to Mbeumo and Brentford. Brentford have milked it for every penny, and then Mbeumo has been sitting there going, "Yeah, I think I want X amount of money, like he's fucking Messi or something." He's playing in
Yeah.
Brentford. And he's just thinking, he's like, "Oh, it's my dream club, but I'll take 250 grand a week, please." I may be overstating it, but he's getting an enormous wage. This guy
Yes, he
can't.
will. He will.
Yeah.
Over 200,000 easily. Yep.
Yeah, so like a quality, it seems like, would you go to right now if you were in Mbeumo? Genuine question. Would you go to Newcastle or would you go to Manchester United? They're both offering you 220 grand a week, right? Same money, same bonuses, whatever. If you're in Mbeumo, same money, are you going to Newcastle or are you going to Manchester United?
Newcastle. And it's not just Manchester, not because I hate of Manchester United, yeah. They're more, listen, they got the potential to be, they can buy anyone, they're rich. Yes, I know they can't do that right now and stuff like that, yeah. But they've got a better team, they got a better manager, they're going places. And with, Manchester United have bought two good players, great players, and definitely upgrades, yeah. But they're pretty much like what we were like a little while ago when we were just there signing every now and then would break a transfer record like a Stan Collymore or pay big money for players that didn't really make us any better, to be fair. It will probably give them maybe a couple of positions higher, but when I look at the choices, if I had to play for Newcastle or Manchester United, and I would probably go play for Newcastle because their midfield's better. Their defense is better. Their manager's better. They can still buy players. Yes, they're not in terms of like global, like, fans and stuff like that. Yeah, but these things do change. Like, look at Man City. They were nothing back in the day. They got some big millionaires, and now they still don't have so much fans. But you know what? Maybe not our generation or our kids' generation. Maybe Newcastle one day will be bigger than Manchester United. We don't know. They're that team where they do have money right now, but each time I'm just watching them slowly drop down in terms of Real Madrid being the most, the biggest global thing and stuff like that. They're dropping. And even Barcelona, I think, have got more XP than they do. And they don't have money. So they're not run well at all. There's there's an issue there. And if they don't fix it, which they have the same problem as potentially Chelsea, what Chelsea had before, they just keep sacking managers. They have no style of play. They're gonna bring in players. They're gonna be, they can either be brilliant and be the one that brings them into, in a better position, or they could just go there for the money. And a lot of players so far have gone there for the money. So I don't know. I mean, they definitely do improve them, but not by a lot. They finished 13th last season. They probably get 8th or 7th, in my opinion. But I suppose you get a bit more money for finishing a little bit higher, but they're nowhere near our thing, and I'm enjoying that all day long.
My answer would be simple. My answer would be simple. I would say and this is probably surprising, I'd go to Manchester United, simply so I could do my best of setting the record of own goals and doing my best to get Manchester United relegated. And and collect my 300,000 pounds a week, just like Sancho's doing, and love every minute of it. Go out to the clubs of Rashford, just kick it. That would at least be my answer.
That's lovely. That's nice as well. I didn't think about that bit, to relegate them like Dennis Law.
Oh, yeah. So that would be at least my honest answer. I'm sure Newcastle would be a very cool place to play, but I don't know if I could share a locker room with Gordon. So anyway,
smashed it.
Yeah. So all right, we are pretty much out of time, but and Bryan had to drop out for a few minutes. He might be able to get back in to say goodbye or say his or plug his show if he's got anything else coming up this week of importance. But I'd like to thank the panel. Lady B, thank you for joining us today. Always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. It was great to be on, and lovely to see you back.
Yeah. I hope to keep up the momentum, and it helps with proper Reds like yourself helping being supportive, and I appreciate that. Baz, thank you again. I threw up the Baz bat signal, and Baz answered, so I appreciate that, Baz, for you to come on today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, and it's absolutely brilliant to see you again. And now you're back, you need to start popping them, bruvs. You know what I mean? Get back on the shows, and yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and big up to you and the chat and the other panelists.
Yeah. He was driving a Rolls Royce. He does. There was a really cool episode on YouTube, because apparently he had this special Rolls Royce and he crashed it. And there's this guy on YouTube that buys.
Oh, Rashford.
Yeah, Armstrong.
Yeah, Armstrong. Yeah, it was brilliant watching him do that, wasn't it? But did you see where he said he'd approached Rashford's people? And I just thought, people? Who's got people?
Yeah. That's Rashford for you.
Yeah.
That's Rashford for you. When you're making 300 or whatever he's making 1,000 a week, you can do that. I mean, you can
do that. Well, you've probably seen that where Rolls Royce won't deal with anybody to put a car back together because, once
Because it was a special. It was like not only a Rolls Royce. It was like it went to like some special.
A Mansouri.
Yeah, Mansouri, exactly.
Yeah, that Mansouri lives in Cheshire, and and he's sort of made a fortune from all the millionaires, sort of like specialising in upgrading cars. Well, you could see the price of the upgrades.
Oh,
but I believe he got another one, like a later model.
Oh, I bet. I'm surprised he didn't have a backup already.
Yeah, he crashed that as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so there's definitely something going on with him, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, he's got to have better people in his corner because that's just sometimes they enable you rather than protect you.
Do you think just while you're going, while you're talking about Rashford, because I thought, it seemed to be the start of the end for him. When he got involved with the school dinners and things, it was like it had taken his focus away from his football, and his football, he was so focused on it, and then all of a sudden he's campaigning. I think that grew legs that he possibly didn't necessarily want, and he then becomes the face of campaigning for school dinners in Britain, and he's with the Prime Minister and everything. But I do think that took away from him and his football, and I don't think he's ever got back from that.
Do you know what, Bernie?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's very interesting you say that, because was he there when Alex Ferguson was there? He was, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Do you know something, all right? I think because of the club and how it's become, Alex Ferguson had those guys on lock, couldn't do this, couldn't do that.
Yeah. They used to have like private eyes, like spying on him.
Yeah,
he's a perfect example of a player that would have been a brilliant player if Alex Ferguson was still managing. If Alex Ferguson was there for the last, 7-8 years, he would have been a different player to what he is. Because when he first come, I was quite worried about him. I thought, he's going to be the next best thing, and he's just been able to do what he's done at a young age.
And with the bare minimum to scrape by.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree with that, Baz. I think he was such a talent, wasn't he, when he came in, and that. But like you say, like Ferguson was so disciplined with them, that an iron fist, wasn't it, with them, and afterwards they've had that much, many different managers, but you can see he's typical of his. He's not used to money, obviously, because who is at that sort of money, but he's come from a very poor background. And then he's doing his best, and I don't know whether the guy. And I don't want to be mean to him. I'm just saying this. I don't know whether he's the most intelligent of people. I'm not sure, but all I know is he's not getting the right, or he hasn't
getting the right advice.
Yeah, he hasn't had the right.
Whoever's advising him isn't exactly giving. But then again, when you're at that level and you're that player, sometimes even when you have advisors, you still choose what you do what you want to do.
Yeah, with that sort of money.
So, but
it's dangerous.
Yes, but what I say? Go ahead, Baz.
No, I was just saying that it's dangerous, with the level of monies that these guys are on, and when things do go wrong, they spiral bad, and you know what? He's just lost it now.
Yeah. Not Liverpool though. I believe that some of our lads are only on about £50 a week or something.
Right.
I was reading. I'm sure I've read. I'm sure Chat will be able to tell us better. But I could have sworn I'd read that some of our young lads in the academy, they keep them on really low wages, so that they don't go off the rails.
Oh yeah, no, our academy is well structured, but. If you're speaking about our academy, at least, I think, right? Yeah. Our academy is one of the best structured academies in the game, in the sense of as in the I don't know if it's the German principles that they brought with them, but the simple fact that when Klopp took over, especially the youth academy is lockstep in with the senior team, but also. The fact, Milner was talking about how the conduct is put together for just the senior team, and that even carries down to the youth academy, and that you're not allowed to have your phone, for instance, at lunch, or in the cafeteria. You can't just be on your phone. You have to actually engage with your teammates, which is a brilliant idea. I think. I mean, it allows for you to get bonding with the team. Everyone's on the same wage rate as players. The youth academy was the Rio was rumored to be one of the few players that was going to get this big deal, and then it ends up coming out that nope, he's got the same deal as everyone else. So like even some of our brightest stars, youth academy stars, still have to realize that that's the structure of the team, and it humbles you. It makes you very appreciative. Same ways like you can't have like a fancy car or something like that. Like different little things that are important, but it will humble you, and also it gives you good character and structure in your life, and I think that's important.
Also, the academy, the AXA now is supposed to be one of the best in the Premier League. Everybody, I mean, one of the reasons Bert came as well is that he said he went to our academy, couldn't believe it, how good it was, and everything. But the young lads, the unders, that they have a complete, like if you go, because I've been to the AXA a few times, if you go up the road to the AXA, it's like one road in and the AXA Academy is on the left. But the young lads, you go a different road.
There's a different road, yeah. There's a different way to get in.
Yeah, and it's a parallel road to the one that the first team have, and a different entrance, so they can never cross over and get to the. And Klopp did that on purpose because he wanted them to feel, when do we get up there? You've got to play your heart out to get up there. But for now, this is your thing. And that's a very, very clever psychologically.
Absolutely. I saw a special where the youth academy director was talking about all the things that they do for the talent, and how it's really just generated just so that they can properly keep these kids not only humble, but allow for them to be kids, allow for them to continue to grow into their adulthood. And when they do grow into their adulthood, they have the understanding of what it takes to be a professional. And I think that's exceptional. I think that's a real difference maker.
Yeah, they do. I've got to say that they do, because even Quansah, he came from Warrington, which is about, I don't know, maybe 15 miles away from Liverpool, something like that. But he came, I think he was 6 when he came. And but they sent him to a school, a private school, which is in between Liverpool and Warrington, and made him do all his studies and pass all his exams. They really put the education hard on them and pay for it as well. So
it's important. Not everyone's going to make it. Not everyone's going to become a professional player, and you got to have something to fall back on. You can't be just a jock that didn't make it.
I love our.
They're a lot more better now. They're a lot more better now than they were in my era. My era, it was either football or that it was, and then it was YTS. Now there's such a big thing for players now. They sign at flipping 9 years old. Do you know what I mean? And they get schooled by Liverpool, even to the point when you become like nearly a first team player. You do a whole bunch of lessons and courses on interviewing and stuff like that, and what to say, what not to say. It's very, very structured now. It's very, very disciplined. And, it does, sometimes it helps people, but then sometimes your entourage or people you still have in your life where you make a decision, it's like, no, I'm focusing on my football, or I want a bit of my football, but my friends. And then those, unfortunately, sometimes when you do have the friends or the wrong kind of entourage, it will make it like a Marcus Rashford.
Oh, yeah, trust, right. Yeah, absolutely. It's, I've had friends that have been professionals that have gone the wrong direction in their career, in their life, and it's a shame because sometimes you could be your worst enemy, and that's a shame. So but with that, let's end on a good positive note. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, please do smash that like button. Subscribe, encourage your mates to subscribe as well. Comment below if you're just watching this on the replay, especially with your thoughts on Ekitike, on Diaz. You can even talk about Mbeumo if you want. Talk about our CB situation, anything that's on your minds, my Reds, this is what we're here for. We're here to talk, debate, discuss, and do it as respectfully as possible, because in the end, we're all Reds. We all support the same team, and we all want the same ending. And that is success for our club and success for each other. So with that said, we'll be back tomorrow. Possibly Lady B might be here. Maybe even Baz might be here if their schedules permit. And hopefully you'll be here with us. So we had a great number of people today, and it really is humbling to see the support that you guys have been giving. So again, up the Reds each and every time. You'll never walk alone. It's always in our hearts, and we will see you tomorrow. All the best, and take care.
Night, everybody.